Would you be excited if Solange announced she was dropping a new album? First of all, who is Solange Knowles? Some will be quick to say she's just the baby sister of music queen Beyonce, but I'm here to tell you she is so much more. I've been following Solange ever since she was a background dancer for Destiny's Child. To grow into this person who have so uniquely carved their own lane of individuality in this world has been incredible to watch. Solange inspires me to stay on a path of self-discovery and to always love my blackness and want to be nobody else other than me. As a recording artist, Solange has dropped 4 studio albums, a fan favorite EP, and a joint label album with her record label St. Heron, most of which I've thoroughly enjoyed, to the point that I would actually like to take time in this video to shed a light on Solange's catalog for her fans who would love to celebrate her music, and for the individuals who are a little late to the party but is still interested in knowing why I really need a new Solange album. If this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome to Tony Approve. Make sure that you click that like and subscribe button so you can catch all of the different videos from my perspective, of course. For starters, let's discuss her most recent album, When I Get Home, which to me is an album that is full of artistic black expression. This album sticks to Solange's personal nature, with it feeling like you're having a conversation with her as you're listening to it. We have interludes when it comes to this album that focus on women empowerment, loving your blackness, and a focus on the many different layers that each one of us have as a human being and as an individual. No one can honestly be put in a particular box. We have so many different expressions of ourselves, and sometimes society pressures you not to express all sides of yourself, but you should always want to, and that's what this album make you want to do. When it comes to the album cover, it is a very simple picture of Solange, which makes me feel like she really wants you to focus on what she's saying in this music. The lyrics can be very repetitive, and I remember when this project first dropped, Solange got a lot of backlash on the internet, especially with her open track for the amount of times that she repeats. But I feel like these were really low vibrating individuals, because when you really tap into this music, you see that the reason why that a lot of her lyrics repeat is because it's almost like manifestation in a way. So like in her intro, when she's repeating and she saw things she imagined, it's almost like she's in awe and wow when she looks over her life and realized so many things as a child or at different points in her life that she used to sit back and imagine. She eventually got a chance to see them. I know personally in my life, it's been times where I've seen things that I imagined that I might have been like low-key imagine like, oh, that'll be really cool if that ever happened. And then it happens and it motivates you and it gives you faith to continue to keep chasing and doing different things in your life. You can use that as confirmation for goals that you're currently working on. And I think that's what she was trying to get across. Or even when you look at tracks like Dreams, she states, dreams, they've come a long way, comma, not today. So in my mind, that's like sitting back, looking at over your life once again and realizing, wow, over time, my dreams have really come a long way from where they were. And when you're saying not today, that's like not today to negative thoughts, other people's opinions about your dreams or where you're going. Not today to anything that isn't helping you accomplish your goal. Solange actually put out a visual film for the album instead of doing individual videos. It celebrates blackness, the history of the black cowboy, which has been often written out of black history to the point that most people don't even realize that a good proportion of the cowboys in the South were black. And I love the fact that she's celebrating her people, and this is an album I can listen to whenever I feel like the world is trying to make me feel ashamed of being a dark-skinned black man. As the lyrics go on my favorite song, FUBU, this one here is for us, all my all around the world. If When I Get Home was an example of artistic blackness, a seat at the table is pure black excellence. This album is probably Solange's most critically acclaimed album and massive success for a series of reasons. One, she won her first Grammy on this album for her song Cranes in the Sky. This album also was released right after her whole elevator fight with Jay-Z. So you know everybody had all eyes and ears on her. And this album was released the same year as Lemonade, which allowed Beyonce and Solange to join Michael and Janet Jackson as the only siblings in music history to have #1 albums in the same year. No lie, every time I listen to this album, it makes me feel proud to be black, and it offers an insight and compassion to a lot of the black struggles that we face in America as black people, especially with songs like Even when it comes to the album cover, this album cover screams,
okay, black, 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 black on black, black, my thoughts so black, black, black.
The interludes on this record really glue everything together because they're conversations with not only her mom and her dad, but Master P, as they talk about past struggles of what it's like to be black, what it's currently like to be black when you want to celebrate your blackness, but society try to suppress you and make you feel like that's wrong, and the power of the black dollar and what it means to go out here and really grind and build your own black business. And not only that, but knowing your value when it comes to investing and going out and connecting with others on a business level. There's so much knowledge that can be gained from the lyrics and the interludes of this project, and it's, like I said, another project that you may have to read the lyrics to really get into. But when you do, ooh-wee. We only received 2 videos from this project. There's Cranes in the Sky, that once again you get a lot of beautiful earthly visuals, and I believe Solange traveled to a lot of different places to film this video, so shout out to her, because I know that editing can be a so to go around and get all of these different shots, having to put them all together in the video, shout out to you. And then you have Don't Touch My Hair, which gives a visual celebration for black women and their hair and the different styles and struggles that they go through. Solange really knocked it out of the park with this album. And if she wasn't submitted in history before, with this album, she's definitely submitted now. Now, when it comes to Solange EP True, I can honestly say that True is probably one of my favorite EPs of all times. This was actually the very first project of Solange that I heard all the way through. Yes, bitch, all the way through. Once again, Solange is carving her own sound when it comes to this project, and it's really nice because I discovered this EP while I was in college. Shout out to my time being at Florida A&M University. And what really drew me to this EP was her single, Losing You. I was really excited to hear her make such a dance, almost kind of house beat type song, and it really made me excited, like, okay, look at Solange. I loved her hair at this time because she had this beautiful fro, and she was just really doing her own thing. So when I finally did listen to the EP, I fell in love with every single song. It almost kind of gives you a little bit of stoner music in a way, as far as stuff that you can listen to, you know, if you're trying to blow some trees down, or you need to really just relax your mind and you like some nice visuals. She's still giving vocals, of course, even though I'm talking about her albums going from newest to oldest. Really, when you follow her catalog from oldest to new, you're able to see how she built on top of each album to keep developing and evolving her sound and making sure that she was carving her own niche in her own way as well. These sounds can be highlighted in my favorite tracks, such as
Back and forth, behind and down, when you were in and I was out, when I was just a girl, I felt just so alone. Let me tell me the truth, boy,
Losing You is one of my favorite tracks, but of course I featured it earlier in the video. And then when we look at the visuals that we got for this EP, once again, Solange was just already building her way of finding the beauty in everyday life and the world and capturing that in film and allowing that to be the visuals for her project. What video she gave? She gave us a video to Losing You and Lovers in the Park. After being blown away by Solange's True EP, I decided to go back and listen to her earlier projects. The project right before this that she dropped was a collaborative album that she put out when she started her own record label, Saint Records. The album is called Saint Heron, and it is a 12-track project of alternative sounding R&B tracks. When I listened to this project, I did like the fact that, once again, I would kind of classify this as kind of stoner music a little bit, because there were artists on here who I wasn't familiar with, and then there were certain artists on here that I was, like Jhené Aiko and Cassie, that I really enjoyed their songs on this album as well. What's interesting to me about this project is it almost kind of sounds like what some of our R&B artists sound like today, and the project actually fits really well in where music is now, even though it's over 10 years old. Of course, Cassie, Jhené, and Solange music has grown since then, but I still do believe that this album would have did very well being released today. I'm not entirely sure what this picture is for the album cover, but I love its artistic expression. Another earlier Solange project was her second album, Solo Angel and the Harley Street Dreams. Now, this is an album that I definitely had to go back and listen to, because I remember this album came out out around 2008. Around the time that this album dropped, I remember liking the singles because I did like I Decided and Sandcastle Disco. Loved all of the singles, but they didn't pull me in to listen to the album, and that's more of a reflection of me at that time. I honestly was just breaking out of only listening to the artists that I really, really like and started, you know, listening to other people who I might not super love, but just kind of give their music a try. This is a great album because it really, once again, proves that Solange has always been her own individual and unique person and always trying to carve her own path and just doing her own thing. She dropped an album that is infused with the sounds of from the 50s and 60s in 2008, which was completely opposite of what her big sister was doing at the time, which allowed her to really be her own artist and shining her own way as a Knowles. I love the lyrics of most of these songs on this record, and I feel like these are probably the best lyrics, in my opinion, of her whole career. Of course, I love the Black uplifting lyrics, but outside of that, these songs really sound like diary entries and really sounds like personal conversations with Solange. And I think I take them more in because I went back and listened to them later on after the album had gotten kind of cold, and it showed you how well this album aged and how, you know, great of a project it is. My favorite tracks off of this album would be the live band and production from the instrumentation just pulls you in when you listen to this album. If you're a music head and you really are into music, this is a project that will really pull you in if you like Solange and you can give it at least 3 good listens. Because I feel like any album that's worth listening to, you can at least know you're gonna like it if you give it 3 listens. Most people only give it 1, but how can you really judge body of work when you only listen to it 1 time? Now, when it comes to Solange's first album, Solo Star, I honestly never listened to this album, and some will say, well, why didn't you go back and listen to it if you're gonna make this video? I wanted to give an honest, authentic opinion about what I felt about Solange during the time of this album, because I was paying attention to her. I just wasn't listening to her whole project. This is around the time where she was singing the theme song for The Proud Family. She was acting in different movies, and I liked the singles and the videos because I had her singles on Hit Clip. I wouldn't be opposed to going back to listening to this project, but at this point in life, I honestly love the single Crush, and I love this single Feeling You Part 2, and those, you know, I'm satisfied with just bopping to those. When really taking the time to dive into Solange's catalog as an artist, you see that she's always been on this path of evolution to keep evolving and developing into the artist that she is now. She's gone from making 50s and 60s music to alternative R&B to almost a fusion of dance and alternative R&B to carving out her own sound to celebrate her people and uplift us in ways that only she can. Currently, Solange has been scoring lately and doing a pretty damn good job at it. And I think that's really so cool because she's once again stepping out the box and doing her own thing. Solange also recently dropped her own limited edition glassware collection. And if you actually wanted a piece, guess what? You can't get it because it literally sold out in minutes. I would love for us to get a new Solange album because of what Solange represents. I would love to see where she is right now in her life when it comes to her individuality, when it comes to her love for Blackness, when it comes to what is the next sound for Solange. And truth be told, Solange is almost always 2 steps ahead. Just shows you the amazing magnitude of the brilliance when it comes to Solange. I would love to get a new project from her just for the love of music, because I feel like she's always put up music out just for the love of it, and every time she does, it has slapped in one way or another. I truly hope that you have enjoyed this dive into Solange catalog. Please drop down in the comment section and let me know another artist that you would love to see me dive into their catalog, and if I've legit been listening to them. I would love to make a video to share my opinion. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay in of everything that I have coming at you. And until next time, God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.